Good evening. This afternoon when I recorded the video on how to write a three-part parallel thesis statement, my video camera was cut off suddenly because my son called. So he interrupted our video. So I would like to begin this recording restating the thesis statement that was cut off. The example is this. Here's the question. Why do some people choose not to marry? The answer, some people choose not to marry because they fear commitment, lack trust in, in others, and have not found the right person for them. And here's the last one. What do successful college students do? Successful college students will always seek help early, study 3 to 4 times per class, and socialize less often than before. Okay, so those are our last two samples of a three-part parallel thesis statement. Now, this video, the subject of this video is how to write an introduction. So, you're in college. The days of paragraphs that have only 3, maybe 5 sentences, they're now over. An introduction for a 5-paragraph essay should be 11 to 15 sentences, minimum 11, more maybe. And if it's a research paper, that section called introduction needs to be a little bit more lengthy. Depends on how many pages you are assigned to write. These are the things that you can include in your thesis statement. You need a lead-in sentence, which is some interesting fact or fascinating detail to grab the reader's attention. A question is a really, really good way to draw a reader into your topic. You may need a definition. Is there a word or a phrase that you're going to be using throughout your essay that you need to make sure that the reader understands? Give it a definition in the introduction. You can include history and background information, general information about your topic, which leads you into your thesis statement. You can also include statistics that relate to your topic. You can include an anecdote with an explanation. An anecdote is like an old wives' tale, something that is commonly spoken but not necessarily scientifically proven. You may also want to include another sentence explaining what the anecdote actually means. You can include a related quote with an explanation, so that's 2 sentences. You can also include a useful analogy. An analogy is a comparison using like or as. You're comparing one thing to another. Well, my students, when I first began to teach, a group of students said, Professor Israel is a beast. Well, I didn't get offended because they didn't mean it in a bad way. They were comparing my teaching style to a beast, meaning I was really hard, I was really tough, and I don't take excuses. You can also include a related paraphrase. You don't want to include too many quotes. So if you include one quote, you may find another quote that you'd like to use. This time, don't use the quote, paraphrase it. And of course, you want to give the person or the place where you got the idea in your paraphrase, you want to give them credit. You can say something like, according to the American Heart Association, exercise does the heart well. You're giving credit to the American Heart Association because they said it first. Let's see. Next thing, you can also include an explanation as to why this particular topic is important. Now, that can be 2, maybe 3 sentences, depending on how important it really is to this particular topic. You can also include a rhetorical question. Now, a rhetorical question is a question that either you don't need to answer or everybody knows the answer already. It's something that you just don't need to answer. It's just common. We all know what the answer is. You can also include a brief mention of an opposition. What does somebody else say about your topic? Now, you don't want to say too much about the opposition because you don't want to give your opposition or the opposite side of your topic any importance. You want to make sure that your topic is the most important. But giving it a brief explanation, brief, short, concise explanation of the opposition, it makes you seem like you have a lot of confidence in what you're writing about. Now, at the end of your introduction, you need to, you must, you should, you must have a 3-part parallel thesis statement, which I talked about in another video. Also know that there are 4 kinds of introduction. There is a funnel introduction, which reveals mostly background information, historical information, leading the reader into your thesis statement. You can include, the next type of introduction is a quotation. You're using an interesting and related quote to lead into your thesis statement. The next kind of introduction is called a dramatic introduction. This is when you are unfolding, unraveling an eyewitness account of related facts and experiences that pertain to your thesis statement. You were there. You have first-hand experience, and you're writing about that in the introduction before leading the reader into your thesis statement. Now, the 4th type of introduction is called turnaround. This is when you start your introduction with the opposition. Now, you're really confident at this point. And then you move the reader into the focal point of your paper, which is your thesis statement. Remember 4 things about an introduction. 1, it introduces the topic. 2, it indicates how the topic is going to be further developed in your paper. 3, it invites the reader in by enticing him to want to know more and enticing her to want to read more in your paper. And the last thing is you must place your 3-part parallel thesis statement at the end of your introduction. This is how you write an introduction. I hope it was helpful. Have a great evening. Bye.